Do you have pain on the side of your hip when squatting? This is a common symptom of a glute medius tendinopathy. If you look at the anatomy of the hip, the glute medius runs from the side of your pelvis and attaches to the lateral femur. Technique issues like a hip shift during the squat pulls the femur in toward the. If you want to deadlift big weight, you have to have a strong back. Legendary coach Boris Shako has a great method for building a strong back he calls deadlift from the rib. An athlete starts by performing a deadlift from an elevated position on top of a rib. After reaching the extended standing position, as you perform the dip phase of a push press or jerk, the knee should drive out to the side. This will help create a strong and efficient leg drive to propel the barbell over your head. If the knees drive straight forward, or even worse if they cave in, it leads to a less stable hip joint during the drive. The shoulder raise is a common exercise used both for shoulder strength and rehab from injuries. However, if this movement creates shoulder pain, what do? If we look at the anatomy of the shoulder, the humerus ball connects with the shoulder blade socket like a golf ball sits on a golf tee. What are the qualities of a great looking jerk? Whether you're taking the barbell off blocks or after finishing a clean, you want to secure yourself in a very stable and balanced position with your full foot grabbing the ground. Next, take a big breath and hold it. This will increase. Let's address one of the most common myths in weight training. Is it safe for a child to lift? One of the strongest held beliefs is that lifting weights will lead to a growth plate injury. This is a vulnerable area of bone that can be 2 to 5 times weaker than the surrounding tissues in a child. A fracture. Why do stretches like this not help take away a pain in the front side of your hip at the bottom of a squat? Stretches aimed at your hip flexors work to lengthen stiff or tight muscles. However, as you move into a squat, your hip flexors don't need to become longer because they actually shorten in length. As this athlete squats, you can see he hits a pretty solid bottom position. However, on the ascent, his left side begins to dip. I gave him the single leg bridge test to perform on each side. The goal is to see what muscles are working the hardest to support hip extension: the glutes, hamstrings, back, or quads. The Superman exercise is commonly used to strengthen the muscles of the back, like the erectors that work hard to limit the back from rounding when you lift. However, when you move your back into a very extended posture like this, the muscles of the back create a ton of compression on the spine that. Do you have an uneven barbell hold when doing an overhead squat or when catching a snatch? I find this is often due to a side-to-side imbalance in how the muscles that surround the back of the shoulder and attach to the shoulder blade are working to create stability for the shoulder joint and arm. A great way to